Hello everyone, it's Matt and I'm back for another pepper review. And today I have for us what is labeled as the chocolate monster or monster chocolate. So I don't know much about this pepper. I was sent this and gifted this by Chris, the Grumpy Gill, sent me a box of pods the other day. And so I'm working through those. Thank you so much again, Chris. And I will tell you, I'm very nervous about this review. This is the first super hot chocolate pod that I'll have this season. And chocolates, to me, usually are, I love the flavor of them, typically, but they do a number on my stomach. And so, not ideal circumstances today. There's, I think, a neighbor that's mowing and some wind and some other things, but I just did a bunch of prep for my stomach. And so I thought I want to get this video in. Not ideal to shoot indoors today, so apologize if there's some distractions in that. But this is the Monster Chocolate, again gifted to me by, grown and gifted by Chris, the Grumpy Gill, and let's get into it. I'm just gonna jump in because I'm nervous, and if I don't, I'll back out. So here we go. So I think this is some kind of chocolate ghost. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to show the inside a little bit. Moment of silence for the chew. Mm, 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 mm. Almost done. So I'm kind of hoping that this is some kind of ghost pepper variant and it won't be like crazy super hot. Although I've heard the chocolate ghost, the ones I've grown haven't been super crazy, but I've heard that they can be like upwards to 2 million and stuff, but I haven't found that in the ones that I grew. I wanted to chew this one very well because, again, chocolate pods typically hit my stomach a lot harder. Oh, I love chocolate pods. There's such a range of flavors that go on while you're eating it. So up front, the pod was very earthy. Climate and heat here. So that would be like the main profile flavor of this was earthy. But about halfway through the chew, I swallowed a little bit and I got this wave of floral perfume. A couple hiccups here. But that floral just went like, I swallowed and it was gone. So earthy overtones throughout the whole chew and experience. The tiniest bit of sweetness just tiny bit. Came in. Ooh, it's a hot one. Tears are starting to well up. It's a slow builder. So I'm thinking this is some kind of ghost. Again, it was labeled as a monster chocolate. It's hitting hard, mainly on my tongue. It's not really a throat burner. It's like tongue and underneath my tongue is the main burn profile. So at the very end of the chew, and when I swallowed, at the very end, I got smoky notes, and I love that in a pod. It didn't hit till the very last swallow, where it felt like, man, this was kind of like toasted a little bit. So you get that earthy overtone, a little bit of a floral, a little bit of a sweet, and then at the very end, some smoke flavor. And then it's just slowly, this is a creeper, which I find, I don't know if it's going to show up, but I got a tear coming down. I find that the chocolate pods usually have that kind of creeping. I mean, sometimes they hit and they just, but a lot of times they creep. I really do think this has some ghost in it. I don't know what the monster pepper is, but it's funny. The last 2 years, I didn't grow any this year. I grew a bell pepper variety that was called a yellow monster, and those things they got big. I mean, it was like a skinnier pod, but it got big and long. But it looked like your typical bell pepper, just kind of longer and larger. So it definitely lived up to the monster name. And so when I saw this from Chris, I said, I know the monster pepper. It still looks nothing like it. So, but it even the look to it had some ghost similarities. So probably some kind of ghost cross. So that got me up to probably a 6. And it's coming down. Yeah, got me some hiccups. So again, I was kind of nervous. I've got a couple other chocolate pods from Chris. Those two I really know nothing about. I think I have 2 left. Thank you so much, Chris. Today I wanted to talk about, as I let this ride, talk from a verse from Proverbs 14, and it's verse number 29. We're talking about anger and how we walk in wisdom on this topic of anger. My glasses are fogging up, getting hot. Last time I talked about this topic of anger and showed how there's strength, right? And it takes strength to be slow to anger. Well, the proverb today says this. It says, he that is slow to wrath is of great understanding, but he that is hasty of spirit exalts folly. Slow to wrath means you have understanding. So it's not just about strength and might, but also understanding, right? Using your intellect, using what you understand and your experience to try to interpret things in a proper way so that you're slow to anger. You're not quick to be angry. You're not hasty of your spirit. And I know that comes a lot of times with, well, number one, compassion, right? We will not have this. If we're not compassionate, we don't think of others, we're just thinking of ourselves. But also it just comes with experience, right? So understanding, man, I could get angry and blow up about a situation, or I could remember, the times when I blew it and messed up, and having that understanding again, it's coupled with compassion. So compassion and understanding, because you can understand the situation but still not be compassionate and just, you know, be angry and express that. By the way, anger shows up differently for people. They internalize anger, and it eventually will turn into bitterness, which, you know, usually you think, I'm going to hold on to this, and we think we're hurting the other person, but in the end, it's just a bitter root in our heart that's hurting us, and the other person may not even know that you're angry, and they go along with their day and they're doing fine, but you're the one that experiences um, the effects of anger from bitterness. So we got to be careful about that. Sometimes we think, oh, I'm just going to hold this in, and then we're just hurting ourselves. But also, anger is expressed externally, right? Verbal rage, wrath, and then we unleash. We blow the lid. We're that pressure cooker, and we turn the take the lid off, and it just kind of explodes, right? So again, this proverb talks about having understanding, and how we can use our experience, use our intellect, use putting ourselves in another's shoes to understand what they're going through before we react and um, get angry. So anyway, I just wanted to share that again. It takes energy and strength to withhold, to be meek, right? Strength under control, and then it takes wisdom to also have understanding, so that we're not quick to get angry. So keep sharing some lessons here from the book of Proverbs. Again, it has a lot on this topic, and I look forward to sharing that ahead. So what a ride! I can feel the tears kind of like have streamed down my face. Probably got 2 or 3 tears from that pod. Um, yeah, and great flavor, earthy notes, a little bit of sweetness, and then a little bit of floral. Again, it passed very quickly, and then smoky notes at the very end. Just a wonderful pod. Great creeper type bird. Um, Mouth bird, not really that much on the throat. A little bit of dragon's breath, and yeah, it's kind of, it creeped up, and then it kind of a little bit quickly creeped down. So a little more quickly came off the ride. So thanks for coming and joining me with this for this pod, and thank you, Chris, again. If you ever get a chance to, or you see that chocolate monster pod, yeah, it'd be a great one. So I could see this in use for some fermented hot sauce. I love fermented hot sauce, and I think that would make a great fermented hot sauce. So hope you guys have a great day. Thank you for coming up and riding with me. And until we see you next time, I hope that you will be slow to anger and be understanding of others. Take care, God bless, and we'll see you next time.